Peta. Uh, Welcome to Transformational Tuesday. Oh, there are my cards. I'm like, where are my cards? Okay. So, um, my smoke alarm went off. So I was waiting for that to like calm down so I could get on because nobody wants to listen to that. I don't want to listen to that. So anyway, I'm actually burning whole cloves. You can take a piece of charcoal and light it and put whole cloves on it. And cloves are really good for sustaining money. Okay. A lot of people use cinnamon, and cinnamon is hot and fast. So we use cinnamon for things like I have a bill that needs to be paid tomorrow or today, and I need money for that. Cloves is more for sustainable. It's for continual money. It's for creating wealth. It's for regular deposits. It's those sort of things. Okay, so I was burning some cloves today. And look, I did my nails. They actually glow in the dark. Okay, anyway, I did my toes too. Okay, so if you are like me and you are sensitive to energy, you will feel massive shifts this week. And I know, and um uh every week it feels like we are going through um major shifts in astrology. We're in the year of the fire horse, baby. Like I said this, called this at the beginning of the year. There is going to be breakthrough after breakthrough after breakdown after breakthrough all year long. Okay, so this is par for the course. It's kind of like the fire horse is the headliner, and these are the little side acts that are actually prepping you and actually doing the transformation. Okay, warming you up for all the things. It's not like we shifted into the year of the horse and all of a sudden, you know, you manifested a pony. It's these. There's all these things that are dissolving the things that aren't working in our lives, removing these things from our lives, helping us see the truth of like the illusions that we have bought into, right? The conditioning, and also to have the courage and the clarity and the inspiration and motivation to actually make the changes that are going to change our lives. Okay, so this week is all about there's there's I think one or two trines, and there's definitely two or three squares. I kind of can't keep up with all of it. And then at the end of the week we have on May 31st overnight we have the blue moon. So let me talk about the squares and the trines. First of all, I'm not go if you want to know exactly what planet is aspecting what planet, you can go Google that. Um, I want to tell you what it feels like because all that stuff doesn't really mean anything unless you understand what it feels like and how to use it. So as I was tuning in this morning and I was like, how do I describe this? So it feels like a bunch of turnstiles. That's what it feels like. So if you've ever been anywhere where there's a turnstile, like a museum or the subway or, some sort of thing where there's a turnstile, right? Or even a revolving door. Actually, it's more of a turnstile than a revolving door. It's like you're moving forward, you're going to your destination, you're going to the thing that's going to take you to your destination, and all of a sudden, you gotta pay to get through. Okay, that's what these trines, not the trines, but the squares are. And it's a momentary stop of like, okay, I'm gonna pay the toll. That's another way of thinking of it, a toll, and I'm going to move through to the next thing. Okay, so think of it as I feel like it's more of a turnstile because it's turning you, it's shifting things. There is a price to pay, and I don't mean that in an ominous like troll, like you can't cross the bridge like a toll booth, right? But there is this like every one of these squares is asking you to let go of something. That's the price to pay. It's like, what do I need to let go of to move to the next thing? Okay, to get on the next train, to go to the next exit, whatever it is. Okay, so it will feel like a start stop all week. Like I'm making uh, uh, having momentum, taking motion, taking action, and then all of a sudden there's a decision point. Okay, what am I going to do with that? So let me give you a quick example in my life. So yesterday I was so I've been working on getting rid of things in my home and doing what I call people call destashing, right? So I'm getting rid of fabric and beads that I don't use, clothes that I don't use, right? And some of I'm just donating it. Some of it's going in the trash because whatever, it's broken, it's whatever. And some of it I'm selling, okay? So that alone is a process, right? To sort things, right? And yesterday I was going to work on the bead destash. That was what I had decided on Sunday when I sat down and kind of planned out my week, okay? And I've been working on 4 different areas of my life. I've been working on my business, right? Money, business. I've been working on my home, getting my home more in order because there's some areas of clutter. There's some things that just kind of never seem to get done, right? Um, I've been working on self-care and I've been working on homeschool. Homeschool feels like we've got a decent schedule. It runs kind of sort of like not it does run. It's just like sometimes there's resistance, right? Of course, everything. Self-care this week I'm working on actually um taking some taking some action on movement. You can hear my smoke alarm going off again. Anyway, my point is that I've been working on these 4 areas. And hopefully you can hear me over that racket because I've got a tight schedule today. So yesterday was supposed to be BG Stash, and I did not want to do it because Monday is, for me, it is a day of marketing and momentum and like household stuff. It is not a day for work. And even though BG Stashing is um, even though destashing is like decluttering, but it is a money making activity, right? So there is resistance there. So what I ended up doing was cleaning 2 of the 3 kitchen counters, and I bought a. This is a prime example of the turnstile. You get to a point, you get to momentum, and then something stops you. And I know it's annoying, but I have other things to do. So please bear with me. So I did not feel like doing bead destashing. So what I ended up was cleaning part of my kitchen. I cleaned 2 counters. I switched the things that were on the counters from one to the other. I switched the cabinets above them because it makes sense to have the coffee cups above the coffee machine. And as I was doing that, I bought a new toaster oven air fryer for Christmas and finally wiped it down and set it up, right? And as I was looking at the old toaster oven, first of all, I mean, it needed a good cleaning. But second of all, I noticed that one of the elements was like hanging on by a wire, right? And so, and usually I will send these things to the Goodwill or something like that because people will fix them. They'll buy them for cheap and they'll fix them up. And this time I was just like, no, this needs to go in the trash. So the whole point of that story is that one, sometimes we have a plan of what we're going to do. Like I'm here doing a live stream and the smoke alarm is going the fuck off. And sometimes we just have to push through and keep going and trust that whatever we're doing is working and it's making the impact that we want it to make. And then other times we get rerouted. It's kind of like, no, you do not have enough money on your Metro Pass. You don't have enough tokens, whatever, to go through the turnstile. Please move in a different direction, which was yesterday, right? So it was like, I don't feel like doing this today. I know it needs to get done, but this other thing that's been on hold for months, that needs to get done. And this brings me to a whole different conversation, which I'm going to touch a little bit about. Is I've been doing a lot of research on ADHD and autism and things like that because I see that I have symptoms, right? And the perpetual conversation in my head is it PTSD from a very traumatic childhood, a lot of emotional, mental, physical, and SA? Or is it autism? Is it ADHD? And there is a lot of fucking overlap. And one of the things that really drives me crazy is this concept of executive dysfunction. It is not, and maybe I just don't understand it enough because I am not a fucking doctor or psychologist or psychiatrist or anything like that. Okay? But it's not for me, it is not that my executive is dysfunctioning. It is just saying that I don't have the capacity and it is not a priority right now. Like the toaster oven. Yes, I bought it for Christmas and here we are 6 months later and now I'm finally setting it up. And it wasn't a priority yesterday. It was more like I was trying to avoid a task that I didn't want to do that day. So it's understanding that about ourselves and like really like being mindful of the words that we use, because it's not that the executive part of our brain is dysfunctioning. To me, in my personal opinion, for myself, I cannot speak for anyone else, it is more of, is it a priority? Do I have the capacity? Okay. So a lot of times things like dishes and laundry don't get done because they are not a priority. Okay. And that's where we need to make decisions on whether we are going to make them a priority. We're going to create a system that makes them automatic, or are we going to just leave things the way they are? So these are some of the questions that this week is asking you, okay? These are you're going to hit these turnstiles, these toll booths, and you're going to be like, am I willing to pay the price to move forward? Okay? And you're going to be dragged forward anyway. But the question is it, are you going to willingly take your Metro Pass or your coins or your Speed Pass? Do you have a Speed Pass or whatever it's called in your state and you can just breeze right through the toll booth? Or do you have to stop and count change? Do you have to think about this? Am I going to use dollar bills? Am I going to use coins? How am I going to pay for this? What am I willing to let go of in order to have the life that I want? So for me, it was stop making excuses about, it's not excuses of I don't have the energy or it's not a priority. That's not an excuse. It's more of like, what is important to me? So having a clean kitchen is important to me. Doing this live stream, even though I've got the smoke alarm and maybe you can hear me or you can't hear me, is important to me. Oh my God, shut the fuck up! All right, hold on 1 second. There's not even any smoke. Shut up. There we go. All right, better. Okay, so even that, the decision to get up and go wave a freaking book at the freaking smoke alarm. What is it going to cost me? What am I willing to do in order to move forward? So I want you to really think about that, because on Sunday, May 31st, the blue moon. So blue moon is the second full moon in a month. People say it's rare, and does not happen all the time. It actually happens every 2.5 years. I know that because I went down that rabbit hole many years ago. And it is all about second chances. It's all about the things that you missed out on, or the things that you denied yourself, or you didn't think you were worthy of, or that whole, things that passed you by. Offers that were never made to you, things that were denied to you, things that you denied yourself. So, and this is not about getting back with your ex. Please don't do that. Definitely don't do that. But it's more of like reevaluating. What are the certain things in your life that you thought were unavailable to you? And this week will show you that it wasn't that they weren't available to you, did you prioritize them? Did you have the capacity, that whole executive dysfunction thing, right? Did you believe that you were worthy of them? Did you believe that you were the kind of person who could have that, be that, do that? It's all that, okay? So what I want you to really think about is, I would pick one area, if you can narrow it down to one area, top 3 at the most, of what are the 1 to 3 things in your life that you wish were different, that you had made different choices, and how can you not go back in time, because we can't share if I could turn back time, right? But more of like, how can I choose to be that person? How can I decide that I am worthy of that thing? How can I expand my capacity, reprioritize my life, and be, do, and have those things, okay? Or be that thing or whatever, okay? So I would do that today. Do not wait, because then that will temper everything that you experience for the next 4 or 5 days. Because if you say, oh, money is the thing that I want to do this work on. And now, mind you, if you go and you look at, because this is a full moon in Sagittarius, if you go look at Sagittarius, what house it's in your astrological chart, and if you don't know, I would highly recommend the Return to Self session that I'm offering. It's 45 minutes. It is $111, and this is part of the work that we're going to go into. It's like, who do you think you are? Like, who were you taught that you are, and who are you really? It's all about your identity. Okay, and that's the work this week. Okay, it's not about the money. It's about, do I see myself as a wealthy person, or do you see yourself as a poor person? I can't tell you how many people who like say stuff like that they were born into poverty and that they're going to die into poverty. That you might, the past you cannot control, but the future you can. Okay, and it's about your identity. It's about, who do you think you are, not what the world told you. Not, oh, we're not Rockefellers. My parents said that my stepfather said that all the time. We're not Rockefellers. Meanwhile, he's wearing $120 Florsheim shoes to fucking sew, and they get like creased and ruined because he's got to look this part, instead of being like, okay, well, I'm gonna, switch my shoes or whatever, making a more sensible decision. And sensible was the thing. It's like, why can't you be sensible? Motherfucker, I'm an Aquarius. Sensible doesn't even exist in my world. My job is to be weird, is to bring in all this innovation and all, make you think about things in a different way. And it doesn't mean that I'm not sensible. I pay my motherfucking bills. I take care of my kids. I feed myself. My house is fairly clean. Like, there is sensibility. I do take care of things. I am a fucking adult. But it's like, okay, but why do I have to do things the way that everybody else does them? Why can't I do them the way that I do them? And sometimes that means doing a live stream with the fucking smoke alarm going off and the washing machine going off. Okay? It is what it is. Okay? If you're a mom, we are juggling 3 million things. We are constantly multitasking. I'm like straightening my desk here, wiping shit down. Like, it's just who we are. Okay? And the point isn't to resist who we are. It is to lean in and be like, this is who I am. And I know I have everything within me. Okay? And if I don't know it or I don't have it, I know how to get it. To figure it out. To find it out. To Google it. To whatever. To hire someone. We always have whatever we need within us. Okay, sometimes we need someone like me to help you see that. And that's a lot of what I do with my clients, to help them see that, one, that just because their brain is a certain way or they do things a certain way does not mean that they are disabled. Okay, and I really don't like that word, because it really, like, it doesn't mean that you do not have capacity. It doesn't mean that you do not have the ability to create the life you want. It just means that you are designed differently, whether it's a physical or mental, emotional, whatever it is. It's not, you just have to do things differently. Okay? And that's beautiful. And when you start working with who you are, the way that your brain works, the way that your values, your priorities, things like that, life flows. You do the things that you want to do because you're not resisting them. Okay? So, all right. That's what I've got to say. Tarot readings, I'm available this week. Today, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. They're $50 for 20 minutes. Okay, it's a Zoom or a FaceTime. If you'd like a video, it's the same price. I'm no longer doing the $26 readings anymore. If you want a tarot reading, the 20 minutes plus a crystal chakra clearing, this is my own creation. This is where I actually have one going on in the background. It's where I have a mat of the 7 chakras. I lay crystals on them. And those crystals are acting on your energy and shifting the energy in your chakras. It is embedding the characteristics you need. It's detoxifying. It's clearing. It depends upon the crystal and the chakra and whatever's going on. I do a whole entire video for you I record and I tell you what I'm sensing from each chakra, why those crystals are there and what they are doing, if there's anything you need to do on your own part, and then I use the pendulum in order to clear the energy of each of the chakras to open it up to the highest level possible right now. You don't ever open your chakras completely. I don't think you can. I guess you could, because that would overwhelm you. We open them to the highest level possible. I also do the same thing with your aura and then put you in a big pink bubble of protection. Okay. So those are eight, 800, no, those are $88 for the two, the tarot reading and the crystal chakra clearing. And then, like I said, the return to self, it's an astrological and human design reading session, but this is not where I sit there and tell you a bunch of stuff and you walk away and you're like, great, my moon is in the second house and blah, blah, blah. No. We are going to talk about what area of your life that you have the most resistance, the most struggle, and then I will look at your chart to see what is the identity there that is coming up. Who do you think you are? Who were you taught that you are? And is that true? Is that not true? And what is actually true? And what is one thing that you can actually say, be, do, or have in order for you to create the life that you want in that area? Okay, so we're only working on one area at a time. Okay, so those are, like I said, they're 45 minutes. They're $111. You will walk away with a Google Doc where it will list the things that we talked about and your action steps, because I always like to give you action steps, because as amazing as the breakthroughs that come up in my sessions, regardless of what kind of session it is, taking action, and sometimes the action is like, stop criticizing yourself. That's an action. It's like, right? It's being mindful. Although I highly recommend that to everybody. And then you'll have that PDF, and you'll also have a recording of the session as well, because they're done on online. Okay? All right, so I'm going to pull a couple cards, and then I'm going to hop off. So I'm really doing my best to make these sessions about 30 minutes or less, because, yeah, because of the wonderful things I does. All right, so let's see what the Oracle cards have to say today. This is the Oracle of the Seven Energies by Colette Baron Reed. As usual, this is my go-to deck for these sessions. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, cool. Very, very cool. Okay. So, kind of reiterating the things that we're talking about. The Rose's Kiss for me is always like, what is the thing you want? What is that thing that feels so like, I love that it's got the ladybug. Ladybugs are associated with hope, okay? And so the Rose's Kiss is really about, what is that thing that feels so elusive, so far away, but it's really right underneath your nose? What is that desire that you think is like, oh my God, it's going to take so long and so much money and so much time and so much energy, but really you could have it now. And maybe not necessarily the whole picture, the whole thing, but you could have a piece of it. You can have that kiss, that touch of it, right? And what happens is when you allow yourself to have a little bit of that, to have whatever possible. So for me, one of the things I would love to do is to have a home in Greece, okay? And so one of the things that I do is I listen to Greek music. I have my Echo Dot play Greek music, okay? And I also have an app on my phone that's actually Greek radio from Greece. It's also buying Greek food, buying things and making food that reminds me of Greece, right? It's speaking Greek when I have the opportunity to do that, okay? So bringing that into my reality, okay? And I can sit here and be nostalgic and be like, okay, it's not the same thing, but it's tuning my energy into it. It's kind of like playing make-believe. Okay, I'm saying, oh, I'm hearing Greek music, so, imagining what it would be like to actually, be on a Greek island or be on the Greek coast and, listening to it from outside my window, not inside my window. You've got to get there in your imagination, okay? You've got to see it in your imagination. You got to feel it. You got to hear it as best as you can. A tiny bit. All it takes is a crack. Have you ever seen a plant, like a dandelion or some sort of plant, growing in the crack of a sidewalk? That's all you need, is to start opening that gap, and just that kiss, that touch of something to make it possible. It's like, okay, if I could create that in my environment, or in my life, in my money, in my whatever, what more can I create? Can I widen that crack? Can I do more? Can I bring more? Can I be more? And it's not even like about being more, like you're not enough, but like, can I be more of myself? Do I feel safe enough to be more myself, to be more my weird? Okay. The next card is Tender Embrace. So this really is talking about embracing ourselves, embracing the journey, acceptance. Okay. Another word for embrace is accept, right? So to bring that into us, what can I accept? What can I tenderly, compassionately, um, gracefully accept about myself, my desires, my needs, my wants, and who I actually am? Okay. And this is where that return to self, astrological human design session is like, oh, chef's kiss. It will help you see yourself in a different way, to truly see yourself, to see that the things that you were taught were bad or wrong about you are actually your fucking superpowers, and how to use them in order to create the life that you want. But you can start doing that now by looking at yourself and being like, what am I really good at? And how can I use it for myself? Because a lot of times we are taught, and especially with human design, we're taught if something is in the unconscious side of our chart, that it's not for us. Like, I had somebody tell me that my channel 4323, the Genius to Freak, is not for me. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. Everything that's in my chart, everything that's in my brain and in my body and in my heart and my mind is for me. Okay, I don't believe in that. Okay, I believe that everything that we have access to through our being is for us. We can use it. It's kind of like in that show Charmed, where they're like, oh, magic for personal gain is bad. No, it's not. If you're using it to harm someone else or to take something away from someone else, yeah, that to me is bad. But again, that you have to deal with the consequences, the guilt, the shame, whatever, your conscience and the consequences. But when you are doing something to better your life so that you have more capacity to help others, to live the life you want, to be an example, to show other people how it's done, it is never a wrong thing to do magic or anything, to use any of your gifts, skills, or wisdom for your own personal gain. Again, as long as it doesn't harm anyone. So this is about embracing who you are, what you want, what you need, and what you desire. And then seeing beyond. I love this card. I love when it comes up. So tuning into your intuition. Every one of these little turnstiles, toll booths that we are hitting this week with the squares that are happening. The next one is on the 28th, right? So on, where's that? Thursday, right? And I don't remember which one it is. It doesn't really fucking matter. It's like seeing beyond it. Like, what I get that I have to let go of something. I get that this is an obstacle, this is a breakdown, this is a breakthrough. But what do I want to experience on the other side of it? Okay, because otherwise we're just going through these trials and tribulations and suffering for nothing. So you really need to get clear as to what it is you want in your life. And again, this week, this full moon in Sagittarius is all about second chances. Okay, and specifically in that area that Sagittarius is in your birth chart. Okay, so for me, it's my midheaven, it's my career. So it's, what is the second chance that I want in my career? I have to get really clear as what do I want my business to look like? What do I want to be doing and saying, and how do I want to be perceived, so that as I go through these turnstiles or toll booths, I know what the end game is. That I don't feel like I'm being punished by the universe or being, like a trained seal in a fucking circus. I know that there is a reason for it, okay? And I see beyond that, right? I see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it is the desire that I want. So it's really important to get clear on that. All right. So, and again, if you want my help with this, if you want actual like information as to like, because it's easy to look up your birth chart and be like, okay, Sagittarius is in my 10th house, that's the house of career. Oh, it means I want a second chance in my career, I want to do something different in my career, I want to be seen, heard, or valued in my career, whatever is going on there, right? And that's easy to discern, but what do you do with that information? What is your next step? How you handle the aspects and the transits that are going on this week and for the rest of this fucking year and beyond is different. And a lot of times with astrology, and I love astrologers, I follow quite a few of them, they're talking about, you know, what is happening and what it means in a broad general sense. And a lot of times they talk about it through the lens of your sun sign. And it really is your rising sign that determines how aspects hit your chart, because they're going to hit a certain house. Okay? So Sagittarius, excuse me, full moon is hitting the house that your Sagittarius is in. That is governed by your rising sign. Okay? Like my sun sign is in the 12th house. That does not tell you where Sagittarius is. Pisces rising, which is my rising sign, tells you where Sagittarius is. It's in the 10th house. Okay? So in order for you to really understand who you are and the stories, the lies that you were told, and what do you do, how do you move forward, and how do you really pivot and create the life that you want, a personalized reading and session is the key. Okay? Because trust me, I watch a lot of videos and I gotta get a lot of information, but then I need to go sit down with my chart and actually like understand what it's actually saying to me. Okay? Because all of that a lot of that stuff is very general. Okay? And also like and again, I'm not throwing any shade on astrologers out there. I mean, obviously in a freaking 2, 3, 5 minute TikTok or reel, like you don't have a lot of time to share information. And even in a 30 minutes, live like this, it's like I can't hit everything, right? And also like everybody's astrological chart and human design chart is different, right? It's like it's not just about where Sagittarius is hitting in your chart. It's like what other um uh planets or astral bodies are in that house. Like it's the whole picture. It's not just that. Okay? So we tend to oversimplify things because then it becomes more digestible and it gives you like something to act on. But if you really want to understand who you are and why you're here and how to actually work with who you truly are in order to create the life that you really want, and also to let go of the shame, blame, and guilt around what you want, because that's the biggest thing. People talk about like, oh, they're not able to receive, but are you asking for what you really want? And a lot of times we don't, because we feel like there's some story there that's like, oh, that's lazy, that's selfish, that's greedy. Those are my stories, right? And I've done so much work to let go of them, and sometimes they still show up. Okay, they still show up, and like I have to stop in that moment and I'm like, is there a story here? Is there a belief that's coming up that like now it's a version of a different thing that I need to deal with? Okay? And I know for me, when I am procrastinating, it's really, I need to look at what is going on underneath that. It's not shaming myself, it's not blaming myself. It's saying, okay, do I have the capacity for the task that I've said that I would do, like yesterday? Do I want to do it? Okay, is it a priority to me? Is this going to accomplish what I want to accomplish today? Okay. And when I sit down and I look at those things, I'm like, okay, yes, I said that this needs to happen, but maybe it's not meant to happen today. And it doesn't mean that we ignore our responsibilities or don't pay our bills or anything like that. Those things are urgent and those things are priorities. But it's more of like having the conversation within yourself and saying, I feel called to do something else. And can I just trust myself? Trust that that's the thing that I need to do. Because let me tell you, walking into my kitchen today, even though my dishes are still not done, I did some yesterday. But walking in and the first thing I see is my new coffee and tea station. I don't know. It just made my day. It just made my fucking day. And then seeing the toaster oven air fryer set up on the other counter, and like that's the only thing that's there because that's the only thing that fits, like made my day. My son made hash browns this morning. He's like, oh my God, Mom, I love this thing. It's like, yes, that's what I needed. Sometimes we need to do this simple task. And trust me, it wasn't a fucking simple task. It took me 3 hours to do all that. to wipe down the counters and move all the things in the cabinet and go through everything. Because that's the thing, you have to understand that, like, if you're like me, with where there's like a heavy attention to detail or per- perfectionistic tendencies, like, I'm not just moving stuff from one cabinet to the other. I'm going through that. I'm getting rid of the yeast that, like, expired back in February. I'm looking at the jar of molasses that isn't expired, but the top has popped. That it means it's not good anymore. I'm looking at all those things. I'm wiping the cabinets. I'm setting up things and being like, okay, how do I make this more efficient? How do I make this, like, actually work for me? That's part of what this week is asking for you. Can you set yourself up for success? Can you stop for that moment at that turnstile and decide whether you want to move forward on this journey, or do you want to make another choice here? Okay? Or is there something that needs to be revisited? Like, maybe you hit the turnstile and you're like, damn, my Metro card has no fucking money on it. I need to roll again. I need to roll the dice again. I need to do something different. So there's going to be these points where you're going to be asked to stop and listen to yourself. I'm sorry, I'm hearing Ice Baby in my head. Stop, collaborate, and listen. But really, it is. It's like, what if that's what you need to do? You need to stop and, like, be like, okay. Sometimes I clean my kitchen and I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, today's task was to make some money, and it's like, okay, maybe I just need time to, like, because I know for me, cleaning is like a time that I let my brain kind of, like, go off on its, like, side quest and just really ground in the body. And a lot of times when I'm cleaning or taking a shower, that's when the ideas connect. That's when the dots connect, because I'm not forcing them. I'm just allowing my brain to kind of do its thing. Okay, I'm allowing it to, like, connect the dots like constellations and not getting in the way and saying it has to look a certain way. Okay, and that's part of the energy of this week. It's like, can you let go? Can you embrace who you are? Can you allow yourself to dream that you can have the thing that you want? That you're not too old, you're not too, there's a fucking saw going on in the background. You're not too old. It's not too late. You can have that dream that you've had for a long time. Can you allow yourself to do that? And like, take a different direction, take a different path, go a different way in order to make that happen. Can you allow yourself to do that? Can you give yourself permission? Can you drop the shame, guilt, and blame that you went on all these side quests and didn't actually make fucking lunch and come back to center and be like, okay, now I need to make lunch, or whatever the task is. And it might be minute little tasks like that, or it might be something major, like a move or a career change or letting go of a relationship. Okay. Blue moons are not common, but they're not super rare. Like I said, they're every 2.5 years. And it is an opportunity for you to think back and be like, okay, what was I doing 2.5 years ago? I don't know what the date would be, but 2.5 years ago. So December of what, like 2024? What was important back then? What was a decision I made? Am I still on track? Am I still willing to do the work to pay the price to have that thing? And sometimes it's looking back at it and being like, damn, I've made a lot of fucking progress. And yeah, I'm in it to win it. Okay? And sometimes it's like, oh, well, there's been a lot of obstacles and, maybe it's not worth it anymore. You get to decide that. It is your life. Not me, not anyone else can tell you what to do. All we can do is be a guide to point out certain things that are getting in the way, certain things that you are saying and doing that are giving you clues as to what you really want. Because guarantee 99% of the people on this planet don't know who they are, like truly who they are, like their capacity, like the genius that they are, their superpowers, right? And they're not asking for what they really want, because we're told, you get what you get and you don't get upset. Oh my God, when they were teaching that in my son's school, I was just like, cringe. I get what they're saying, like, we can't all complain that we didn't get a red crayon, but why can't we ask the kid that has the red crayon and be like, hey, I have a yellow crayon. I would like your red crayon. Can we switch? Can I use the red crayon for a little bit? So that's bullshit that they teach our kids, and that's a whole other conversation. But anyway, so this week, really, what is the dream, that long held dream that you wanted for a long time, that the universe is saying, is this what you really still want? Because if you do, I'm opening the door for you, but there, you're going to have to let go of something. There is a price to pay, and the price isn't like it's a like oh, you have to sell your soul to the devil kind of sort of thing. It's like you have to let go of something that isn't working anyway. So like, why wouldn't you? And for some, it's like, you know, that can be a hard decision. I get it. Okay, I stayed in a relationship for 13 years that wasn't working, because sometimes it's like, oh, well, if I do this, what, like, I don't want to give up. My mom used to say, you never finish what you start. Divorce is a finish. Sometimes we have to make that decision and realize the truth of that. Okay? So, and sometimes we have to let go of that story of like, you never finish what you start. No, I don't finish the things that no longer work for me, that are no longer bringing me joy or benefiting my life. And that is a totally valid thing. I may not finish what you want me to finish, but I definitely finish the things that I want to finish. Right? So sometimes we have to flip that script. All right. I hope this has been helpful. If you'd like a session today or this week, just message me and I'll get you on my calendar. And as always, I will catch you next time. Take care. Ooh.